Remarkable experiences I've had with fans or directors. That's a good question. Let's see. Fucking director appreciation, fan appreciation.
A fun story? A fun story might be hard to find. I will say
there are too many to name for sure because I just love the fans, and that sounds sarcastic, but no, really, I do.
Our fans consistently remind me that I'm getting older and that my jokes are still relevant for 12-year-olds. I appreciate that.
I appreciate that all of our fans are so young because that makes their moms the perfect age for milfing it up.
So I used to get some pretty interesting messages. He was running his voice through a computer program, so I'd get like really crazy, just off the wall, odd messages. He was probably a grown, at least kid, middle aged, I don't know. But he'd do this one like really weird, like hi kids voice, and like hi Matt, I sucks the masters, I'd like to play with you. Sometimes they'd be really hilarious and great, and other times they'd be very like ominous and kind of weird. I kind of miss him. I wish he'd keep on messaging me. You know who you are, you weird, beautiful man boy.
When Joel and I were doing the Realm video segment, and every episode I was referred to as Cleveland from Family Guy, and now some people would think this would be an insult, like, oh, isn't he really overweight and terrible and strange and not attractive to women? Well, guess what? I took it as a compliment because he's an iconic cartoon character, which is how I like to see myself. So, audience, kids out there, thank you.
I've been the writer and producer on All Your History pretty much since the beginning of that show, and right when we started it, a lot of people said it probably wasn't going to do that well just because it's sort of not, it's a little bit less energetic than some of our other shows maybe. The fans really ended up taking to it and really giving it a chance and sort of coming back week after week, and it's been around now for almost 3 years now. So I would just say that was a surprise to me, and thank you to you guys for tuning in and sort of making that something that I've been able to work on for all this time.
Basically, Hutch was at a loss to do one of his stand-ups as to like what he was going to do, and he wasn't really comfortable with any of the takes he'd done. So he's like, all right, I'm going to do something a little different this time. In the middle of the take, he just starts telling me to go fuck myself. And I picked up on the fact it was a joke pretty quick, and it just kind of became a thing for all of Call of Duty XP. I had a Twitter account that I hadn't really done anything with, and I had like 20 followers that were mostly family and friends, that suddenly blew up to like 200, I think it's 500 people now that have all started following for the express purpose of saying fuck Borov to anything I do. So if I have a sandwich, it's fuck Borov. If I have a good day, it's fuck Borov. If I met a girl, it's fuck Borov. I just have gotten a really big kick out of being able to interact with the Respawn fans, and I was surprised by how nice and friendly they were, even though they were telling me to go fuck myself.
They always point out when we're completely inaccurate with news stories. They do a much better job at my job than I do at doing my job. I appreciate that. Thank you. Keeps me on my toes, my supple toes.
If by personal moment with a viewer you mean that one guy who still can't get over the bad score I gave Monster Hunter Tri and who's stalking me on Facebook, then yeah, I got a few good memories.
I will say the fans in the comments are a pain in the ass 90% of the time. Let's be real. They're mean. They're completely keyboard warriors. And but that 10% that leaves constructive feedback and can put just a sentence that makes sense with mildly appropriate grammar. I love you guys, and you're the ones that I look to here for Fan Appreciation Week.
I just love any opportunity I have to actually meet our fans IRL, whether that's at PAX, some convention, or whatevs on the street. I like it when I can see them face to face, because all I ever see is the shitty fucking angry comments. And when I see like a nice, bubbling, rosy-cheeked, nubile young fan, I'm like, yeah, that's who I'm making these shows for.
What I love most about our fans is that every time I go to a convention, they're always down to come up to me and say hi and talk about games. And for me, that's the most exciting part about attending all these damn conventions, is not, running from interview to interview, but talking to people who have watched my videos, who have played games that I like, and us just having a real-ass conversation. Because the fans are cool and totally rad to talk to, and I love every second of it.
Actually, I had 2 fans come into Machinima about a week ago. They had driven 3 hours from their hostel to come to the Machinima studios, and I gave them a 15-minute tour. They walked around the studio like it was Candyland. Like they'd never seen anything like it, and I was like, I can't believe people like Machinima this much. I can't believe that. And then I realized that I do too.
I'm actually dating one of my fans. Is that weird? I just reached level 3. That's pretty sweet.
I've had a lot of experience with directors, even though we don't really interact with them one-on-one all the time. But when they do come out here, it's always great to see the smiling face of a young director like Syndicate and Syndicate and Syndicate, sorry.
Last year, towards the end of the school year, we took CNNers out to a middle school to meet some middle schoolers, and they freaked the fuck out when he walked in the room. We did a little Minecraft Let's Play. They had a little 8th grade math Minecraft server. Watching the kids react in their place where they least expected him to show up was pretty much the coolest experience with the fans that I've had.
I think my best moment thus far had to be at my first PAX. It was my first big-time event for Machinima. Didn't know what to expect, and sports was brand new, so I figured no one would be there to see me. And lo and behold, there was actually a fan there who had never been to the U.S. before, but he was a fan of Replay and really wanted to meet me, and so he came out to PAX, and it was pretty cool.
About last year at PAX, when I went to PAX in Boston, I got to meet a lot of fans, people that followed my channel, a lot of other people that do this YouTube thing, and that was great because they would come up and know all these inside jokes from podcasts I had been on, from all kinds of different stuff like that, stuff that I had totally forgotten about, and they'd be like, "You remember?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I do remember saying that now that you bring it up." So that's always kind of cool. And indirectly, people that followed my channel enabled me to actually work at Machinima, which is awesome, because I wouldn't have gotten this job if I didn't have the connection with YouTube, with Machinima, and from people watching my videos. So, I love you guys.
So I was actually a Machinima fan before I started working here, and I actually won a contest to go to E3 2009 and hang out with Kovic and the team, and ended up getting along with them really well, and kind of being like, wow, this is totally what I want to do, and now I work here. So I think that kind of connection with our fans is really meaningful and really important, and sometimes you get employees out of it.
One of my favorite experiences with the fans and directors was when we did our very first 15-day Call of Duty Black Ops live stream, which turned into a 25-day. That was such a huge moment for us as a company, and to see how many fans were out there and wanted to play with us and wanted to watch us and wanted me to dance in a robot costume, and I did, and you can Google that on YouTube.
I think that the most memorable moment that there's ever been a viewer was actually PAX East 2010, and this woman comes up to us and she's like, I hate to bug you guys, but I just want to let you know that I have a 12-year-old son and a bunch of his classmates on sort of a tour guide of Boston, and they're going crazy because they see you guys in Machinima shirts, and they're just like ecstatic about Machinima. And so we told them to come on over and talk to the Dead Pixel because they loved Inside Gaming, and they got to wear his helmet, and we took pictures and stuff like that. And at the end of them seeing us in the food court, the mom was like, I've taken them to all the historical sites in Boston today, but this is probably the thing that made their trip. So that was probably the most awesome moment with fans that I've ever had at Machinima.
I like that, dude. That's a good experience right there. Yeah. I just still don't understand why they get us mixed up. Fans, we look nothing alike.
Nothing alike.
Nothing alike.
The thing I have to say is fuck Borov.
In all honesty, though, thank you guys for watching our stuff. I can't believe you're still doing it after all these years. I fall asleep crying every night, just upset with what I've done with my life, and you guys keep watching it for some reason. So for that, I love you, and I thank you.
You guys are awesome. You guys make me feel good in the pants. And if you weren't here, Machinima wouldn't exist. So thank you for all you guys do. It's awesome.